Straight ahead, breaking tonight, a double shooting is under investigation in Northeast D.C. 2 people have been shot, including a juvenile. We're live at the scene later in the show with the very latest. Plus, a shakeup is coming to the D.C. Housing Authority's 13-member board. What today's council decision means for the future of the board. And new video tonight now showing some of Prince George's County firefighters' latest heroic efforts. We'll look at the moments that led up to it. And stretching your dollar with the holiday season in full gear, we're finding the best prices when it comes to putting food on the table. But first, here's Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb with a look at those freezing temperatures on the way. Janessa.
Yeah, it's really time to start preparing because we're going to go up and then fall dramatically down many spots by Friday afternoon into your evening. Going to drop nearly 30 to 35 degrees as a major storm system makes its way across the continental U.S. We'll look at that storm coming up.
All right, thanks, Janessa. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Annalisa Gale in for Mark Hall today. Breaking right now, DC police are investigating 2 shootings that happened moments ago in Northeast and Southeast DC. Both reported just before 3 p.m. A teen and a man were shot in the 6100 block of Clay Street Northeast, and a second man was hurt in a separate shooting in the 1500 block of Good Hope Road in Southeast. All victims, we're told, are conscious and breathing. Police are looking for a man in a black Honda sedan in connection to the Clay Street shooting. And right now, Clay Street is blocked off between 61st and 62nd Streets in both directions. Police do not have a search underway for anyone in connection to that Southeast shooting. Back again with Janessa now with a look at those temperatures as we get ready for Christmas Eve and Christmas. We're both wearing red. We're ready. We're excited.
Yeah, we're super excited, right? We're about to transition into the holiday, and I know the focal point is people hitting the roadways, getting to airlines, getting to their family and friends. Now, I have looked at this newest model data that's coming in, and I want to report that it does look like this storm system will turn into a bomb cyclone. What that means is that the pressure is going to go down 24 millibars in 24 hours. So basically, that storm system is going to continue to rev up as it makes its way across the central U.S. Family and friends, Chicago, Detroit, Greater Cleveland area to Columbus, you're going to encounter major delays. Now, closer to home, winter storm watches, they are now in place across the Alleghenies into Garrett County, west of the Shenandoah Valley, and that's going to extend all the way into Friday, potentially into Saturday afternoon as that storm system pulls apart. You have a good chunk of the nation stretching down from Texas all the way up to the upper Midwest. Winter weather advisories, blizzard warnings, and winter storm watches that stretch from Seattle all the way down to Atlanta at this point. The rest of the East Coast, yes, you're going to get on the mix of this along with the mid-Atlantic, and so dicey travel conditions will persist. Right now, I am watching some lake enhance bouncing off Garrett County into Kaiser area. That will be short-lived for tonight, and so that is really your precip that we're talking about today. Let's look ahead because I want you to prepare for the next 24 to 36 hours. Your travel forecast as you are hitting the roads Thursday. We'll look specifically coming up at Friday, but let's focus on Thursday morning because you have the brunt of this rain that's going to start to move in. Unfortunately, out towards the west, that is going to be a little bit of freezing rain and potentially snow. And then midday, look how warm temperatures get, about 45 degrees. Travel plans across I-95, major highways, definitely going to be dealing with some possible ponding, hydroplaning. Temperatures are going to be in the lower 50s. Now, hitting the airways, a completely different weather pattern. It really depends on your location. If you're going to the Midwest, deep south, we'll look at that widespread forecast coming up.
All right, Janessa, we'll check in again soon. Thank you. Well, government funding is set to expire on Friday at midnight, and with a potential shutdown on the horizon right before the holidays, lawmakers are scrambling to compromise on the $1.7 trillion spending bill. DC News Now's Katie Reese spoke to federal workers about all of this, including that potential shutdown. Katie, what are they saying tonight?
Well, good evening, Annalisa. Now, it's a bit of a toss-up. Some of those federal workers I spoke to, they're really worried about a potential shutdown, and others said this wasn't their first go-around, believe the government will resolve this shutdown before anything can happen.
You know, you could be without for some time, but I'm not gonna worry about it.
Hoping that it won't last forever. I've heard war stories about it.
Early Tuesday, lawmakers proposed the spending bill for the next fiscal year, with compromises on funding to aid Ukraine, other defense matters, as well as aid for communities recovering from natural disasters. But some key points are causing a standstill for lawmakers, which has some federal workers and their families worried.
It is always a challenge when one out of two people stop getting paychecks, so we'd obviously like to avert a shutdown altogether.
One federal employee told me that some essential workers, like members of the military, will still receive paychecks if the government does shut down. Others say they'll likely receive back pay. But for contractors, some won't know if or when they'll get their next paycheck.
It's able to pay rent, utilities and stuff like that. So I just got my own place. Don't want to lose that. My first rodeo. Try to save what I have, and hopefully it'll last long enough until I find something else.
Other federal workers I spoke to say they're not worried.
Continuing resolutions, usually this is a political tactic, and typically we get our continuing resolution and we continue working. It's been enough worry and scare with everything that's going on in the last 3 years, and so I think for those of us who are working and are healthy and happy, that's going to be the last thing I worry about.
Now, this fiscal spending package, it's already nearly 3 months late, and lawmakers have until Friday to make a decision. In the studio, Katie Ree, DC News Now.
All right, thanks, Katie. Developing now, D.C. City Council is overhauling the board that oversees public housing. That vote inside the Wilson building where council meets was 9-4. Political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming was there. Leonard, what will this mean for people who use public housing?
Good evening. Yes, well, it's hard to say exactly what this will mean, but the mayor and her proponents on council say that they need this to fix decades of problems, waiting list issues, as well as deplorable conditions. But her critics say that the mayor has had her chance to fix these problems because she's had control of the board and hasn't done it yet. After a respectful debate, city council members overhauled the DCHA board. It gives Mayor Bowser more power of appointments and reduces the total members. Councilwoman Anita Bonds.
I am happy that we are moving forward to right the situation that we all feel is an egregious situation with our housing authority. It has to be done. We can't leave it as it is. And so that's what this proposal is about today.
There will be 9 members with 1 housing resident and 1 council representative. A second housing resident will not have voting power. The terms on the board are reduced to 2 years from 3. Critics claim the move will silence those who sounded the alarm on the problems with the housing authority and led to a scathing report from HUD. Alyssa Silverman voted no.
There has been a lot of focus about who's rung the alarm bells and whether they're in or part or not part of this reform plan. We have known about the deplorable housing conditions and DCHA dysfunction for decades.
The problem, she says, is having the board in the control of the mayor.
DCHA has a specific mission to house our lowest income residents, and it needs an independent board focused. This plan is designed to move the authority out of the board's hands and squarely into the mayor's.
But Councilman Robert White said something needed to be done.
It is no surprise or unique conclusion that we have to do something, and we have to do something urgently. We have to reform the board, we have to reform the agency, and we have to perform oversight.
If the mayor signs the legislation, it goes into effect days after her signature. We still don't know how HUD officials are going to react to this, but we will keep you, our viewers, posted. Reporting from the Wilson building, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Leonard. Also new tonight, D.C. Council passed a bill that should make Metrobus rides free in the district. The vote on that topic was unanimous. It not only makes bus rides free in the district, but also funds overnight services and improves bus lanes and shelters. All that's left now is for the mayor to sign that bill, which she's expected to do. The free rides would start in July. Developing now, we now know the name of a man shot and killed in Prince George's County last night. He has been identified as 54-year-old Lee Alexander Thomas. Police found Thomas with a gunshot wound on Campus Way South in Largo. That was around 11 p.m. He died earlier today at the hospital. A $25,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest in his death. Right now, Montgomery County Police need your help with identifying the person you see here. They're accused of robbing a Boost Mobile store in Gaithersburg earlier this month. Police say the person got into the store on Contour Road around 2 in the morning on December 5th. Well, new details tonight on the cybersecurity attack in Washington County. We're coming up on 4 weeks now, and problems that knocked out the county government's IT system still aren't fully resolved. A new website known as Framework has restored information about parks and recreation programs, commercial service from the Hagerstown Regional Airport, and bids for vendors doing county business. But utility customers still cannot pay their bills online. That has to be done over the phone or by mail. Tax payments are being processed by the Treasurer's Office, though there is a backlog of invoices. Permit fees can only be processed in person or by emailing documents. Inspections must be arranged in person. We are working to find out if any personal information was compromised in that cyber attack. County officials have not answered that question for us today. We'll take a look at this remarkable video out of Maryland tonight. A man is lucky to be alive after being rescued from a burning truck in Anne Arundel County. It happened yesterday afternoon on Route 50 and I-97. A Prince George's County fire crew saw that truck on fire in the roadway there while en route to Anne Arundel Medical Center. The crew and Anne Arundel County police officers were able to pull the man from that truck. He is thankfully expected to be okay. Amazing.